Alongside Brent Hubbs, I'm Austin Price. 2-minute drill on this Tuesday. Got to meet with Cody Burns, Brian Jean-Marie, and then Javonte Payton and Jaquan Blakely. We'll start with the receivers. They've clearly cut down the rotation the last few weeks. They went to a more veteran group, especially with Velus in the slot and Javonte and Cedric Tillman out wide. It's clear that Cody Burns likes that older group and what they bring to the table.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt. There's a comfort level there. Those guys have been through the wars of the SEC. They understand the league. And I think those guys have a business-like approach every day, okay? We talk about Javonte Payton. You know, this is near the finish line for him. Velus Jones, you know, and Cedric Tillman's the guy who's been around and knows what to do. I think they're looking for those younger guys to take a step in terms of their preparation. Jalin Hyatt seemed to do that last week. The question is, can he do it again? But there's no doubt, crunch time, they're riding with those big three.
Yeah, I thought Cody Burns was, very complimentary of Jalin Hyatt and how he had taken the early drops and then kind of worked his way back into some playing time and then made, what Cody called an unbelievably tough catch last week down the goal line with that slant route. Maybe gets him going a little bit.
Maybe, we'll see. I mean, I think the bigger thing was that he did not let just playing 20 snaps at Missouri affect his preparation to get ready for South Carolina. He used that as motivation, it appears, instead of being a guy who was disgruntled about it and putting out some innocuous tweet that everybody's trying to figure out what it means. He just went to work, and I think he was rewarded with that by playing early in that game and being targeted early in that game.
Javonte Payton scored 4 touchdowns, 1 in each of the last 4 games.
And his only target per game, right?
If that's all you do, you're doing well. He talked about how he always tells his parents, his time will come. It's all good. Like he's very much team oriented. Just seems like a down to earth kid, one that's kind of older now and more reflective and sees the big picture on things more so than his younger teammates who maybe are kind of like, I got to have now. He kind of has a more broad scope in how he looks at things. He is very happy with his 1 touchdown per game, and if he needs more, he will get more. As for defensively, Jaquan Blakely, Brian Jean-Marie, they know containing Matt Corral this week will be a challenge. Tennessee's toughest challenge to date because of his ability to throw the football, no interceptions on the year, and his ability to elude and escape out the back end and make some plays with his legs.
Well, and I think, you also throw in the fact that these linebackers have to play in space and play in coverage. It's a real challenge for the linebacker. How are you going to play action, the RPO game, because Matt Corral can run, but you can't play it like Emory Jones because he can throw it much better than Emory Jones and can make a lot of high-quality throws. So it really puts a tough burden on the linebackers. I think they've got a real challenge in front of them on Saturday with, do I go stop the run at the line of scrimmage with Matt Corral? Do I stay in my zone drop? Where's that line and when I commit to go one way or the other? I think that's something that'll be really hard for those guys.
Yeah, Brian Jean-Marie, very complimentary of Aaron Beasley and all that he's brought to the table at the linebacker spot, saying he thinks his best football's still ahead of him, Brent, that he's still scratching the surface of what he can be because of how they've used him to this point. More of an inside backer, now they've started to use him more at the weak side and continues to make plays.
Well, I think the other thing that jumped out to me was when I asked, Coach about whether or not, what he knew about him when he got the job. He said, well, I remembered him in recruiting.
Being an athlete.
And so he had a history with him a little bit and kind of knew what he was getting into, knew his skill set. This staff has found a way to use his skill set, something that wasn't done previously here.
He's Brent Hubbs. I'm Austin Price. The 2-minute drill on Tuesday.